Lewis Hamilton, who really has been the centre of attention all weekend. There is something of a star in that boy, just the way he carries himself, his whole demeanour.
Me and my dad driving up here in his red Cavalier with the box trailer. Really, we were nobodies, you know, and I was only 8 years old, so. Dad spent all week in his off time from work preparing the car and making it look stunning for the race weekend. Ken and I come and destroy it.
Imagine this. A 6-year-old kid, council estate, Stevenage, England, a perfectly ordinary town that nobody outside of Britain has ever heard of. His dad is juggling 4 jobs at the same time: dishwasher, double glazing salesman, IT contractor, putting up estate agent signs, just to put food on the table, just to give his son one shot. That little boy.
Hamilton! 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 Lewis Hamilton!
I know you're humble, but would you agree that you are the drippiest F1 driver in history?
He now has 42.3 million followers on Instagram. He owns homes on 3 continents. He drives a $2.7 million hypercar. He has 7 Formula One World Championships, a record shared only with the great Michael Schumacher. He was knighted by the Queen, and at 41 years old, he is still racing.
Is Lewis Hamilton the GOAT? I mean, I know what I am, but that's something I'll continue to try and show you.
Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton, the greatest Formula One driver who ever lived. And today we're going deep into the life behind the helmet, the mansions, the supercars, the yacht, the fashion empire, the music, the activism, a life that is truly out of this world. This is the story of a boy who refused to stay ordinary. Lewis Hamilton was born on January 7, 1985, in Stevenage, a new town built after World War II, not exactly famous for producing global icons. His father, Anthony, worked up to 4 jobs simultaneously to fund young Lewis's karting fees. When Lewis was 5, Anthony bought him a remote-controlled car. The next Christmas, a go-kart. And then, a promise. "I'll support your racing career, son, as long as you work hard at school." By age 10, Lewis was the youngest ever winner of the British Cadet Karting Championship. And at one motorsport awards event, bold as brass, he walked up to Ron Dennis, the boss of McLaren Formula One, and said, "Hi, I'm Lewis Hamilton. I won the British Championship, and one day I want to be racing your cars." Ron Dennis wrote in his autograph book, "Phone me in 9 years. We'll sort something out." He was 10 years old. By 13, McLaren contract. By 22, Formula One. By 23, world champion. Oh, and he was bullied at school, so he took up karate at age 5 to defend himself. He played football alongside a kid named Ashley Young, who went on to play for England. Lewis said if F1 hadn't worked out, he'd have been a footballer. Instead, he became the greatest racing driver in history. Let's put the records into perspective, because the numbers are simply staggering. 105 Grand Prix victories, the most in history ever. 104 pole positions, nobody else is even close. 202 podium finishes, more than any driver who has ever lived. 7 world championships, tied only with Schumacher. The first and only black driver ever to race in Formula One. The first driver to surpass 100 wins and 100 pole positions. He won his first title in 2008 on the last lap of the last race of the season, Pure Cinema. He raced for McLaren, shocked the world by joining Mercedes in 2013, dominated for a decade, and then, at an age when most drivers retire, signed for Ferrari, his childhood dream team. In the iconic red car, still racing, still hungry. Michael Schumacher watched a teenage Lewis race in 2001 and said, "He's clearly got the right racing mentality. It's something special." He had no idea just how special. When you earn £40 million a year for over a decade, you buy homes the way most people buy shoes. Monaco, the crown jewel. A $15 million plus penthouse in the Fontvieille area. Floor-to-ceiling windows, panoramic Mediterranean views. He moved here in 2010, joining the ranks of F1 royalty and billionaires who call this tiny principality home. London, the mansion. An £18 million mansion in West London, grand architecture, private gardens. The kind of home that would have seemed like science fiction to a boy from Stevenage. New York, the Tribeca penthouse, a reported $40 million apartment in Manhattan's most exclusive neighborhood, Tribeca, home to celebrities, financiers, and power brokers. Lewis didn't just buy an apartment, he bought a statement, Colorado, the Retreat, a private mountain estate where he says he'll live after retirement. And just for good measure, in 2022, he joined the ownership group of the Denver Broncos, one of America's most prestigious NFL franchises. Because, why not? Total estimated property portfolio, north of $75 million. And climbing. What does a man who drives the fastest cars in the world keep in his personal garage? The crown jewel, the Mercedes-AMG Project 1, $2.7 million. A road-legal hypercar that takes Formula One hybrid technology and puts it on the street. Only 275 were ever made. Over 1,000 horsepower. The closest thing to an F1 car you can drive on a public road. Lewis Hamilton has one. Beyond that, multiple Ferraris worth over $6 million combined. A fleet of high-performance machines from the world's most prestigious manufacturers. Here's the twist though. Lewis is one of the most vocal environmental activists in motorsport. He sold his private jet in 2019 to reduce his carbon footprint. He went fully vegan. He invests in sustainable businesses. A man who loves performance and still cares about the planet. The little detail that says everything, his car number, 44. His dad's old Vauxhall Cavalier had the number plate F44 when Lewis started racing. He's carried that number his entire career, from a council estate car park to a $2.7 million hypercar. Same number, same routes. When Lewis wants to escape the paddock, he takes to the sea. His 90-foot Sunseeker yacht, valued at around $4 million, is a floating palace. Teak decks, luxury staterooms, state-of-the-art entertainment, moored in Monaco, where he can sail the Mediterranean whenever the race calendar allows. His travel is legendary. In one incredible stretch in 2018, he won the Italian Grand Prix, flew to Shanghai for meetings, then to New York to launch his fashion line, then flew immediately back to win the Singapore Grand Prix, a world tour between race weekends. And between all of that, he was visiting UNICEF projects in the Philippines, Haiti, Cuba, and India. He's not just traveling for luxury, he's genuinely trying to see the world and change it. Lewis Hamilton might be the most stylish athlete on planet Earth, full stop. In 2018, he launched Tommy X Lewis with Tommy Hilfiger at New York Fashion Week, alongside supermodels Winnie Harlow and Hailey Baldwin. His own line, Plus 44, blends streetwear with high fashion in a way only Lewis can pull off. He's collaborated with Dior, sat front row at Valentino, Versace, Burberry, worn a kilt to the Met Gala, showed up to race weekends in custom haute couture. In 2025, he was a co-chair of the Met Gala itself, one of the most coveted roles in the fashion world. And in February 2025, Lululemon named him a global brand ambassador. Fashion insiders who had never watched a single F1 race became Lewis Hamilton fans because of what he wears to the track. He once said, "In fashion, I can be vulnerable. I can show a side of me that people don't get to see." That authenticity is exactly why 42.3 million people follow him on Instagram. Beyond the track and the runway, Lewis Hamilton is genuinely deeply creative. He's been writing and recording music for over 10 years under the pseudonym XNDA. In 2018, he featured on Christina Aguilera's album Liberation on a song called Pipe, and didn't confirm it was him until 2 years later. That's how you keep a secret. He plays piano as an escape, something private, something his. He started playing guitar at 13. For a man who lives so publicly, those quiet moments are sacred. In film, his production company Dawn Apollo Films co-produced the 2025 Apple TV Plus blockbuster F1, starring Brad Pitt, which was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. Tom Cruise personally offered him a role as a fighter pilot in Top Gun: Maverick. Lewis had to turn it down because he was busy winning Formula One races. Imagine having to decline Tom Cruise because your schedule is too packed. He also appeared in the Cars animated franchise, and his likeness is in Fortnite, alongside a skin of his beloved bulldog Roscoe. Lewis Hamilton is literally in a video game, with 42.3 million followers and a platform that reaches every corner of the globe. Lewis Hamilton could have stayed silent and just raced cars. He chose the exact opposite. He took the knee before every race in 2020 in support of Black Lives Matter. He wore t-shirts on the podium calling for justice for Breonna Taylor, knowing it could put him in conflict with the sport's governing body. He established the Hamilton Commission with the Royal Academy of Engineering to bring more black people into motorsport and STEM careers. He founded Mission 44, pledging £20 million personally to support young people from underrepresented backgrounds. He donated $500,000 to Australian bushfire relief. He was named Peter's Person of the Year. Time magazine listed him as one of the 100 most influential people in the world in 2020. And on New Year's Day 2021, Queen Elizabeth II made him a Knight of the Realm. Sir Lewis Hamilton, a boy from a council estate, a knight of the British Empire. This is not just an athlete, this is a global brand, a media empire, a legacy in the making. Lewis Hamilton is 41 years old, still racing, still pushing, still making history. Now in a Ferrari he called his childhood dream. He has 42.3 million people watching his every move, a net worth of over £300 million. A knighthood, a fashion empire, a film company, a charity, a yacht, homes on 3 continents, and a $2.7 million hypercar in his garage. But none of it started with privilege. None of it. It started with a boy on a council estate, a dad working 4 jobs, a go-kart for Christmas, and an unbreakable belief that if you work hard enough, dream big enough, and refuse to let the world tell you what you can and cannot be, the world becomes yours. That is the life of Sir Lewis Carl Davidson Hamilton, and we haven't seen the last chapter yet.